Hey guys, I got a lot of emails about page 107 in the textbook that you did with the sub on Monday, and I was going to go over some of those problems for you so you better understand it. I also got some emails about the IXL, so I'm going to do some of those for you as well. Please email me back if you have any other questions. You guys did a great job communicating with me what you had trouble with and which problems, and that was awesome, so keep it up. That was great. All right, so on page 107 in the textbook, basically in the first section it said just find each square root. Round to the nearest hundredth if you need to round. Hundredth is 2 places after the decimal. So if we have to round, we'll go 2 places. So for number 20, the square root of 49 is just 7. So we're just going to write 7. If you didn't know that already, you just put in your calculator 49 square root and you would get 7. Okay, 26, since it has that plus or minus sign in the front, I have to keep that in my answer. That means the answer is either positive or negative. And then I'm just going to take the square root of each number in the fraction. So the square root of 36 is 6, and the square root of 81 is 9. So the answer would be plus or minus 6 over 9. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to use my calculator, and it's the square root of 820. So I'm going to put 820, take the square root. Okay, so I get this big long number, so now I'm definitely going to have to round. So I'm going to round 2 places after the decimal. I'm going to round 28.64 because that 5 after the 3 makes the 3 round up to a 4. So we will round that to 28.64. But if you put 28.63, I'm not going to mark it wrong because you rounded wrong, okay? But that would be the answer for that one. Now for the next section, it says, name all the sets of numbers to which each real number belongs. So remember I gave you that chart in your notes the other day, and if you don't remember, go back and look at your notes or go back and watch the video again from, I believe it was Friday or Thursday. I can't remember, but one of those days. I gave you this chart that talked about rational numbers on one side and irrational numbers on the other side. And under rational numbers, there is there's several different types of numbers. So there's integers, which are positive, negative, or whole numbers, or 0. There are whole numbers and there are natural numbers. Okay, so those are the types of numbers that we're going to be looking for. So the first thing we need to do for number 32 is we need to work out this answer. What is the square root of 22? So the square root of 22 is a big long decimal that does not repeat and it has no pattern. That means it is an irrational number. So I'm going to write 4.69041 means it goes on forever. It doesn't repeat, it goes on forever. So that is irrational. Now for the next one, I'm going to simply divide 3 divided by 4, because remember a fraction means divide, and 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. Just that simple, 0.75, and it has an end. Since it has an end, it is a rational number. Oops. And since it sorry, I can't write and talk at the same time. Okay, so since it is not a whole number, it doesn't fall under any of those other types of numbers. It's not an integer, it's not a whole number, it's not a natural number because it's a decimal. But it is rational because it has an end. So that's that section, and I will be right back with a couple more. All right, so for this section, which is on the next page of your textbook, it asks you to graph each solution set. So you're just graphing this on a number line. And if you are answering the questions in your, like on the computer in a document, you can't do this part in a document. You need to write this part down on paper. So you're going to have to switch over to paper for this. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to just plot the points on the number line and then graph it according to which direction the equation says the arrow or the line should go. So remember, when you have just greater than or less than, you're going to have an open circle on the number line. That means it does not include the number. But if you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you're going to have a solid circle on the number line because that means it does include the number. So number 52 is greater than, so I'm going to have an open circle on -12. And then I have to read the equation to see which way does the line go. So it says x is greater than -12. So if it's greater, then I'm going to go this way. That means anything that's greater than -12 is a solution for this equation or inequality. Okay? So let's look at the next one. It says x is greater than or equal to, so now I'm going to have a solid circle, -10.2. So I'm going to go to -10, and then I'm going to go 0.2, which is just like a little bit more, a little bit further than -10. And I'm going to put my dot right there, -10.2. And then I'm going to read the inequality again and see which way my arrow is going to go, which way my line is going to go. X is greater than or equal to -10.2. So if it's greater than, again, I'm going in this direction. Okay? And I seriously, even still, I read these inequalities out loud because if I don't read it out loud, I get confused if it's less than or greater than. So read it out loud and you'll be great. You'll be just fine in plotting these, okay? So now I'm going to switch over to IXL and show you some examples on there because some people were having trouble with IXL. So let's look at that. Hold on one second. Okay, so for this IXL, you're just answering the question. So since the negative sign is on the outside of the radical sign, my answer is going to be negative. And I know the square root of 16 is 4. But if you didn't know that, you just use your calculator. All right, so now it's saying the answer is plus or minus. That means one answer is going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Again, the square root of 16 is 4. So I'm going to have a positive 4 or a negative 4 for my answer. Negative sign again, keep the negative. Square root of 81 is 9. Okay, again the negative sign, and then the square root of 361. Let's see what that is. 19. Okay, negative again, and I just know the square root of 169 is 13. Hopefully you do too if you've been studying your chart from your math journal that we did last week. Square root of 0 is always 0. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead if I can. My face is in the way. Hold on. Because some of you were having trouble when you got up to a higher score. So what are the positive and negative square roots of 4 over 16? So you're going to write your answer as a fraction. So the positive, take the square root of each number on the top and the bottom. So the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 16 is 4. So I'd either have a positive 2 over 4 or a negative 2 over 4. What is the positive square root of 0.16? So I'm going to put that in my calculator. Take the square root, it would be 0.4 because it only wants positive. negative square root. So this time they want a negative. I'm going to put a negative sign there. Take the square root of the top number and take the square root of the bottom number. Square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 81 is 9. Square root of 0.25 is 0.5. Okay, again with the plus or minus. So I'm going to skip ahead again and see what other problems we have. Okay, so these get trickier because they're decimals, but if you just enter it in your calculator just like it looks, you should be able to get the answer with no problem. So I got 0.06, and then it would be negative 0.06. That's it. Okay, so same thing for that. 0.14. All right. Again, take the square root of the top number, take the square root of the bottom number. So 12 over, I think it's going to be 130. Yeah, 130. And then a negative 12 over 130. All right, let me skip ahead again and see if we get anything different. Okay, so when it has this little setup here, you want to find the square root of the number. So I'm looking 244 is 15.6. Complete the following. Use the integers that are closest to the number. So if the actual square root is 15.6, that means, and this is negative, so it's a little bit more tricky with the negative, negative 15.6. That means my answer is between negative 16 and negative 15 because it falls between negative 15 and negative 16 because it's negative 15.6. Now this time they give you the choices, so just do the square root of 306. I got 17.5. 17.5 falls between 17 and 18. $338. 18.4 is what I got. It's actually 18.38, so I guess it wants this one. 110, 10.4 or 10.5 would be between 10 and 11. All right, I'll do one more. 13.1 is what I got. All right, so I'm literally just taking the square root and then seeing either what it equals, what it's closest to, or what numbers it falls between. And that's all I'm going to do for IXL because I got to 95. That's pretty high. So if you did not get to 100 or close to 100 the other day, I want you to work on this again on Wednesday after your quiz and try to get that score up because it is a grade. Okay? And email me and let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.